Good afternoon. As we begin, I'd just like to ask everyone in attendance to stand and join us in a moment of silence in recognition of the victims and families of those who lost their lives in the senseless terror attacks in Israel. This conflict is far from over, and with confirmed American fatalities and many more unaccounted for, I believe I speak for all of us when I say our continued thoughts remain with all the innocent lives lost in this heinous act of brutality, and we pray for an end to the suffering. I would like to, at this point, if everyone would remain standing, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to ask Gary Schwam, who is a member of the Islip Town Fire Advisory Board and also Commissioner in the West Sayville Oakdale Fire Department, to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Gary?
Hats off, hand over heart. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gary. You may be seated. Welcome to the Town of Islip October Board meeting, and throughout the year our town has the distinct honor and privilege of recognizing extraordinary members of our community. This month we are proud to recognize those members of our community of Italian heritage. We had Hispanic heritage last month, so here we are with Italian heritage. Those whose presence in our town has improved the quality of life for their fellow neighbors and communities. We're honored to have 4 such members of our community here with us today. And I will begin, and I'd ask our first honoree to come forward, and that would be Charles Gandolfo. Charlie? I know how you hate this, but born and raised in Bayshore and a longtime resident of West Islip, Charlie Gandolfo is the owner of 4 successful small businesses: Hageby Collision, Hageby Service Center, Village Salon, and Dynasty Limousines. Alongside his success contributing to our local economy, Charlie remains dedicated to giving back to the community. And as a longtime member and past president of the Order Sons of Italy, the Anthony Casamento Lodge, Charlie has helped raise funds to provide scholarships to students and assisted local charities. Mr. Gandolfo is also one of the founders of the Joe Namath Charitable Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to assisting children's charities and neurological research. And he has personally played a pivotal role in securing donations for Good Samaritan University Hospital. On top of it all, he remains an active member of the West Islip and Babylon Village Chambers of Commerce and continues to support local fire departments, providing practice vehicles for emergency access during training drills. So please join me in recognizing Charlie Gandolfo. Our next honoree is Joseph Gabriel, and I'd like to invite Councilman Jim O'Connor to the podium to present the next award. Very well. Good to see you, Joe.
You have the right sweater on today.
Oh, nice.
I looked
Look
over.
at
I
her.
said, she
Turn
must have
around.
known.
Ciao. That's perfect. Get a pic. We'll have to get her in a picture. When we gather all the honorees, we'll have
Joseph Gabriel has been a registered architect since 1978 and is the owner of a multidisciplined firm offering architectural solutions for commercial, residential, and mission-critical projects. I think you were one of our award nominees at our small business luncheon several years back.
I was, thank you.
In addition to the success of his firm, Joseph has lent his expertise as an adjunct professor, teaching the next generation of architectural principles at NYU and NYIT. A longtime resident of Islip Terrace, Joseph has remained dedicated to his community, serving the East Islip School District as president of the Connecticut Elementary School PTA, president of the East Islip PTA Council, as well as serving on the school board. Joe is additionally a longtime member of the East Islip Chamber of Commerce, which is where I know him from and where his colleagues recommended that Joe be one of our honorees this year, and where he has provided direction and leadership in multiple executive roles, including president, vice president, and chair of the annual tree lighting ceremony. Please join me in recognizing Joseph Gabriel.
Oh, okay. Our next honoree unfortunately could not be here, and it's Greg Napolitano from Campbell's Bakery in Brentwood, but I'd like to invite Councilman Guardone to please come forward and talk about his accomplishments.
Thank you very much, Madam Supervisor. Yeah, Mr. Napolitano is the owner of the community Rivera Campbell's Bakery in Brentwood, a staple in the Long Island community since 1989. He's also a strong community advocate and regularly donates to Brentwood, Central Islip, and Bayshore schools, fire departments, and veterans. Through Gregory and Campbell's Bakery, typically fill the confectionery needs of couples that like sweet tooth like mine. A big day, he recently came to the rescue of young community members in a completely different way when he learned through a News 12 story of a local group of cheerleaders who thought qualifying for a national cheer competition in Florida that were unable to attend due to financial concerns. In a statement to his character and his willingness to always lend a helping hand, Gregory invited the varsity teams to coach Campbell's Bakery, where he surprised the team with a check that would help them exceed the fundraising campaign and cover all the necessary travel expenses. In doing so, Gregory truly helped spread the cheer to the deserving youth in our community, also allowing excess funds to be put towards the team's youth cheer campaign this summer. He could not join us today for health reasons, but I ask you to join me in congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I think we could all agree that he certainly is a very worthwhile honoree. Okay, and we will move to our final honoree today, and that is Anthony Sansevero, and I'd ask Councilman John Lorenzo to please come forward.
Thank you, Supervisor. Good afternoon. Anthony Sansevero has been actively involved in his community for over 3 decades. Having graduated from Sayville High School in 1985, he soon after began volunteering at the Sayville Fire Department. His dedication to the safety of our community led him to a career as a firefighter for the New York City Fire Department, where he served until retiring in 2007. Shortly after retirement, Anthony joined his family's insurance agency, A. Sansevero Insurance. Anyone who lives in Sayville, Bayport area probably knows him, where he still is there today selling more insurance than he knows what to do with. Only insurance agent I know without a business card. He still gets work. Through all his years of service, Anthony has maintained a strong drive to give back and has served on various boards for the betterment, to the betterment of his community. Anthony has served on the Bayport Blue Point School Board, is a longtime board member and current vice president of Inclusive Sports and Fitness, and currently serves as the vice president of the board of directors for the Neighborhood House of Sayville, a nonprofit dedicated to helping families through loss due to overdose and suicide. Anthony also serves on the board of Bayport Blue Point Foundation, assisting those in the community who have fallen on hard times and need financial assistance to help them push, to get them back on track. Anthony is a wonderful man, a wonderful friend, and a wonderful community member. For his years of dedicated firefighting and commitment to aid those in our community, please join me in recognizing my friend, Anthony Sansevero.
We're going to get a group shot of all the honorees. I thought we were doing that, yes? One more round of applause for all of our honorees this year. So our town is indeed fortunate to have many dedicated and civic-minded individuals who devote their time to improve, serve, and keep our town safe. Today, we'd like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to the volunteer firefighters across our town who have devoted an extraordinary 50-plus years of service in their various departments. Many of these honorees have served in their departments as commissioners, chiefs, captains, and all of them have been an inspiration to the younger members who share in their wisdom. They have witnessed the growth of our community over the course of half a century, have adapted to changing circumstances and growing needs, and have not failed to rise to meet the unique challenge of their departments in order to best serve in their communities. So please join me today in recognizing their profound dedication and excellence. And we're going to begin with Bayport, and I will mention the two honorees. Unfortunately, they are not here. And it's Ray Riley Jr. and Charles Zigrosser. Gary said he would take these for me and make sure they got them. I'll just leave them right here. Thanks, Trace. Next from Bay Shore, Ray Boucher and John Ippolito Sr. Next from Bohemia, Raymond Audette Jr., William Fagan, and Tom Rydell. Next from Brentwood, Cecil Harrell is not able to be here, but John Pilger, Miles Quinn, and Michael Reuter. We have three honorees from Central Islip. Just one is here today, and that's Donald Miller, but also we have Henry Frank and Charlie Murphy. And next we move to Holbrook. These two gentlemen are no strangers, Ronnie Schnall and Joe Williams. And we now move to West Sayville, and the honorees are Gary Lee Manuel, Rick Lee Manuel, and Joseph Mandanisi. Okay, one more round of applause for these incredible, incredible gentlemen. We really thank you all.
We have some announcements before we start today's meeting. This month, October, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and all through October, the South Shore communities have been lit pink to raise awareness. At the beginning of the month, we stood with Northwell and our neighbors to the west at the town of Babylon for our annual Pink by the Bay event. This kicked off our month-long campaign to bring awareness through education and the celebration of survivors' journeys to recovery. In the U.S. alone, there are about 1 in 8 women and a growing number of men affected by this disease. And we ask that you please schedule your mammogram and remember that prevention is the best, early detection is the best prevention. And if we could keep the chatter down, that would be really helpful. With fall in full swing and Halloween nearing, we invite the youth of our town to keep our Islip clean in style by showing off their recycling skills with the Keep Islip Clean recyclable costume photo contest. Send a photo dressed in your best costume to keepislipclean@gmail.com. All of the directions are there, so please follow it and use this opportunity to teach the importance of reduce, reuse, and recycle. Also, I'd like to thank the Department of Parks and everyone involved in our drive-in movie night at Brookwood Hall last weekend in honor of Halloween. I believe it was Hotel Transylvania. We had over 280 cars, that many families come for drive-in movie night. It's a free event. We were able to provide through the sponsorship of Good Samaritan Hospital, and just a wonderful opportunity for families to come together. And we'll be repeating it in December, so check out the website. And for all pet owners, October 28th at 1 p.m., bring your dog dressed in their Halloween best to the Islip Animal Shelter and Adopt a Pet Center for our pet costume contest. Enter for a chance to win prizes. Entrance must be received by this Friday, October 20th, so email the animal shelter with the number of pets you'll be entering, and you can check it all out at islipny.gov. Lastly, it's that time of year again for our really beloved Apple Fest. It will be at the Islip Grange, hopefully, this Saturday, October 21st. We ask everyone to check the website and the e-alerts. Depending on the weather, it may have to be rescheduled. We hopefully won't have to do that, but it's kind of out of our hands. It's just a great family fun day with vendors and amusement rides, a petting zoo, and all kinds of things for family entertainment, along with fresh apple desserts and a food court and so much more. A scarecrow contest, so either this Saturday or next. Hopefully it will be this, because next Saturday, Sable is sponsoring their fest, so it would be so much nicer if they were on different days. But in any event, check out all of the activities scheduled in our fall recreation newsletter. So I thank you for that, and we will move right to the agenda. You know, we have an awful lot of people here today on the issue of the travel lodge, or the shuttered travel lodge in Bay Shore that has all of a sudden become a county-operated homeless shelter. And just so that there's no misunderstanding, and I know I've talked to many of you on the phone, I know you've reached out to other members of the town board, we are absolutely opposed to the county's unilateral decision to operate this shelter in a residential neighborhood without any concern for the community. And we will be looking forward to pursuing any actions necessary, and we do have a resolution on the agenda today. We never received notification of this sighting, and by the county's own law, in the year 2000, I was there, I supported it, legislation was passed requiring the county to notify the towns or the villages if they were planning to site a shelter. Because of the engaged community, and let me tell you, this today shows how government really works for you. You contacted us, we immediately sent code enforcement in there, building inspector, fire marshals, found that there were violations. One of the most serious, a potential gas situation that has been remedied, but there still are unanswered violations. So we today, and I'm going to ask the town attorney if I am acting in contradiction to protocol, but I would like to pull that resolution forward instead of waiting till the end of the agenda, and pulling that resolution forward, if everybody would check in their packets. Resolution 22, and this is an authorization for the supervisor to sign any and all necessary documents demanding that the Suffolk County Executive and the Commissioner of the Department of Social Services immediately terminate any and all discussions regarding the location of the homeless shelter and have the property vacated immediately. So I would entertain a motion. Thank you. Councilman Cochran, I know that you've been on this, talking to a lot of our residents. A motion from Councilman Cochran,
second from Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. The resolution is approved. And thank you so much for bringing this to our attention and working with your local government. Okay, we will move now to, where are we? We have 3 scheduled public hearings today, and if the town clerk would read the first hearing notice, please.
Sure. The first hearing today is to amend the Islip Uniform Traffic Code, Schedule C, prohibited turns, Schedule G, stop and yield intersections, and Schedule J, parking, stopping, and standing regulations.
Any questions on the hearing? Hearing none? A motion?
Make a motion to close the public hearing and offer the resolution for its adoption.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Thank you. We'll go to hearing number 2, local law number 6. Madam Clerk.
Today's second hearing is to consider enacting Local Law 6 of 2023 entitled Prohibition on Smoking and Vaping of both Tobacco and Cannabis on Certain Town Properties.
Any questions on this? This really codifies something that was in place already, but with the proliferation of vaping and the approval from the state on cannabis smoking, though we have, as a town, opted out of the retail sale of it, it still is out there, and we've gotten many, many complaints and concerns, especially in areas like our parks and beaches where young people reside, that there is this smoking and vaping. So we are tightening it up, and I thank the town attorney and his office for all their work on this. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, I think there is. Councilman Cochran made the motion to close the hearing, and we have a second from Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Thank you very much. Okay, we will now move to the public portion. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought that was the last. We have hearing number 3, the proposed addition of the planned landmark preservation overlay district. Madam Clerk, please.
Thank you. Hearing number 3 today is to consider the proposed addition of the planned landmark preservation overlay district on the town's own motion to real property located in the Connecticut School District on the southwest corner of Idlehour Boulevard and Chateau Drive, and on the west side of Central Boulevard, approximately 330 feet north of Connecticut Drive, Oakdale, Town of Islip, New York.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Again, so many of you here today are aware about the concerns about the PLP on the old Dowling property. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there, so we want to set the record straight. Let it be known that in no uncertain terms that myself or town board members, that we voted unanimously for the PLP in 2018 and have supported that without question. I know that Councilman O'Connor particularly have been to many meetings and tried to assure everyone. Also, too, Councilman Lorenzo, having come on board recently, he too has been committed to this issue, that when this, if you read the 28 resolution, a requirement for the PLP was for the applicant and property owner to file certain covenants and restrictions with the county clerk's office. Unfortunately, those covenants were never filed. Today, we're pleased to say that the town board will be voting on a resolution that will create the necessary PLP overlay district and include the same historic landmarks that were identified in 2018. And again, we thank the community for your advocacy. We all, I know I've had many, many meetings back to when we first adopted the PLP with Historical Society and the Oakdale Civic. I mean, you guys have been tireless in your advocacy for the preservation of this incredible historic property. So without further ado, I would ask Councilman O'Connor if you would to make the resolution, make the motion. We'll pull that resolution number is, do we have it?
No, it's number 3 on the
Oh,
public
okay.
hearing. Does anybody want to-
But there is a resolution. It's attached, okay.
Does anybody want
Okay. Is there anyone who wants to be heard on this public hearing? All right, then we'll move.
to make a motion to close the public hearing and offer the resolution for its adoption?
Thank you. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? It is thankfully approved. Thank you so much. Okay, now we will move to item 1, we'll move to the public portion. So we have a number of cards. Just to remind everyone, you have 3 minutes. It's not a question and answer. This is truly an opportunity for you to bring forward your concerns. And we'll start with Jim Schlau.
Jim Slack, 415 Cliff Street, Central Islip, 55 years.
Jim,
Which
can
one?
you bring that microphone down a little so we can hear you? Thank
Now
you.
you start the clock.
Don't start.
How fair of you. I want you to know that I went to the recycling center and I told the guys there that I would mention this. The place was so clean, there wasn't as much as a cigarette butt to be seen or a leaf or garbage anywhere. So let me say that first.
Thank you
Now,
for that, on behalf of all those people that work so hard there.
they do. The thing is, you had Miss Laura Scott here. I saw the meeting on 18, and she said about the commercial vehicles. I've been bringing you pictures of commercial vehicles on the properties, on the sidewalks, for who knows how many centuries, or be sarcastic. I've got the truck here. I got code enforcement never seems to see this. Repair of commercial vehicles on Cliff Street. I got houses with 10 cars on them. You have one here that's actually been rectified on. I want you to look at these because there's one of $12 worth of pictures here. Here's another smash up on my corner. That's the 4th one within a year. Too many people are in these houses, you're not doing anything about it. Okay, and here's Brightside Avenue. Here's all the license plate numbers. I've been fighting this for years. Here's what a handicapped woman looks like. She can't get around. The sidewalks are packed with cars. Let's see. And I want you to give accolades to Lisa at Code Enforcement. I spent a half an hour over there trying to get to the bottom of all these cars parked on Smith Street on the right-of-way. As you can see, there's a sidewalk there. They go up the sidewalk and they park there. Who cares? Me, I care. Because I got here in 1968, and this place is a disgrace. It's a third-world country, and I'm very glad to see that you didn't use any negative stuff in any of your placards. And I like your little bus here, unwanted migrants. Very good, thank you. You finally noticed that it's a problem. And Newsday, living well. A guide to your best years. I'm retired for almost 10 years now. These are the worst years of my life, living in this town. I don't know what to do. And Laura Scott, don't hold your breath, because I haven't gotten any help from the town, practically zero, on all of these commercial vehicles. Please, sir, hand those to the board. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you for the photos. It'll make it easier for public safety to go out and address your issues. Next speaker, Richard Conti.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor and the board, for allowing me to come here. One of the things I just wanted to give you a little background of what I see and what I'm so happy with you, the resolution that was passed this afternoon. But just by way of information, I live out here in Bay Shore with my wife Barbara, and we're in the Windermere. But prior to that, some 36 years ago, I was asked to come out here to run a bank. That bank was Security National Bank, where Teller's Restaurant is now. So they sent me out there to see what I can do for the bank. I came out here, it was a ghost town. And I looked and I said, now I know why I was brought out here. But it's amazing what your predecessors have done and all the people. I realized what happened, all the mama and papa stores closed because of the mall. And so one of my jobs was similar to what your predecessors did, was to try to get this place back together again. And it was amazing what has happened. It's so different in that time. And I know that even in my own case, I made a lot of loans out here to get these merchants back in business, and a lot of people through the real estate helping them get mortgages, so it just regenerated itself. So I was so happy to hear what you did. And even now, what we're seeing now, we're seeing a lot of new projects come out here, a lot of homes. A lot of people are against it. I say, look at it another way. It's going to help us, because those people that are coming out here are going to have to eat out here. They're going to have to shop out here, and their children will go to schools, and they're going to absolutely help our economy in terms of taxes and whatnot. So that's basically I wanted to say, that congratulating in what happens out here. And I'm so happy that what you said before, don't change what's not broken. I mean, and so I appreciate it. And that's really what I want to say by way of history. It's nice to hear that we're back on track, and hopefully we'll stay on track based on the resolution that was passed before, and not allowing them to come here. And I remember before some of those stores were open, you know, including Stop and Shop, that was a Gimbel's at one point in time. So it goes back. So when we walk the streets now, you know, and I say, wow, I can remember when. And even in Windermere, that was a restaurant that had burned down. Now we're living there. But anyway, I thank you for what you did, and I just wanted to let you know I appreciate it and give you a little background to the people. What I saw 36 years ago isn't here now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Conti. I appreciate all your comments and your overview and your very astute observation on development and the change that's happened. Bay Shore, like many of the other hamlets in the town, are really different. But I think the community has spoken and come together and embraced most of it, and that's how it's supposed to work. I know the governor at one point was thinking about taking local control away from the town governments and having all of those decisions made in Albany, and that would have been a mistake. It's meetings like this and happenstances like the past week with the phone calls and the cooperation of the town that's brought us to positive results. So thank you for noticing that and mentioning it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, Greg.
Greg Islip, resident. I'd like to just point a fact out that when you sent these flyers out, you were blaming, and I'm no fan of the governor, believe me, but you're blaming Hochul for plan for change to our town, zoning codes, zoning laws.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why did you approve Heartland at 10 stories, phase 1? Okay. Why did you approve Tri-Tech 5 stories in Bay Shore? That's not on the governor. That is not on the government. Let's go to Island Hills in Sayville, Reckler. For now, it's been calmed down, but if you get reelected, I guarantee it will be back again. And he's going to push that through. Okay, Angie? So let's get the facts straight. Let's not just, throw someone else under the bus. You got to stand up and you got to tell the people what the real facts are. Okay? It wasn't Hochul, like I'm saying, that approved these build-outs. Okay? And your buddy Eddie Romaine there from Brookhaven, okay? He's got the Ronkonkoma Hub, another urbanization project. So you're taking the small town feeling of Islip and turning it into Queens, where you said you came from. You came out here to get away from that urban. I came from Brooklyn to escape that type of urbanization type living. Okay, Angie? But you're converting Islip now into another Queens, okay? You look at Bay Shore now, it's, the sunlight is casting shadows on 3rd Avenue and then 4th Avenue, okay, because of the building heights. Okay, Hochul didn't approve that. So let's not shift blame. Let's put the blame where it really belongs, okay? Because, like I said, for the people in Sayville, you better think about this, because if you think this is not going to be pushed through Island Hills in the upcoming 4 years, Reckler's just waiting. He's just waiting, because that's going to be developed. And what are you going to do there, Angie? Another 5 stories or 10 stories in height? This is getting ridiculous. It's looking like Queens now. Like I'm saying, Bay Shore has a skyline. And then we have parking meters, okay? Another urbanization type look. We pay to park. So, that's all I want to say. Thank you. Best of luck.
Point of information. Parking meters were in Bay Shore 50 years ago? In the 50s. Everything old is new again, Mr. Pepe. Next speaker, Janine Duche. And I apologize if I mispronounced it. As you're coming up here, I would just like to mention, Mr. Conte made some really interesting observations about Bay Shore downtown and the changes that have happened, and seemed to embrace them. And to just remind anybody who might feel that we were being a little disingenuous, at the time that the hearings were held for TriTech, there was an overwhelming support that came from the community. Actually, the Chamber of Commerce, Donna Perricone, met with the developers and was very comfortable with what they planned for the downtown, and it certainly has been a boon for the business community down there. And I venture to guess that every property owner in Bay Shore is happy now with their property values, because trying to find a house in Bay Shore now, it's not easy. Janine, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're going to speak together.
Sure.
My name is Lois. This is Janine. We live across the street in Windermere. We're very happy that the resolution has been passed. However, we just want to make it noted that in our community now, after COVID, it's mostly an older community, but now we do have some children. They get on and off the bus outside of the community. The bus doesn't come into the community. It's been brought to our attention that these children are now intimidated by the fact that they've seen some of these homeless people loitering around and outside the community. Some of our residents who make it a habit every day to walk up and down Main Street have been followed. They also feel fearful to walk outside our community now, and several have been confronted by these people. So they're afraid to even leave the community. And we also feel that we as residents have to live by the rules, the laws, and the regulations that are set forth by the government. However, this project, as we already spoke about, was approved illegally, and we weren't even given a choice to vote for it. So we pay our taxes, and we want to know why we pay our taxes, but we don't have a say in what gets erected, what gets transformed, what's approved. So, which is, I believe that that's the democratic way. We live in a democracy, and we don't even have a right to vote or a say in our own community. We live in a gated community, and we don't even feel safe. So, I got, what else? We have anything else to say? So that's it. Oh, yes, one other thing. So we do appreciate that the resolution was passed. That's wonderful. But what is the next step?
Well, it's in the hands of the county now. That resolution is passed and will be filed and communicated with the county, and we made it abundantly clear that we want it vacated.
Okay, so we appreciate that, but that's very vague. So we made it abundantly clear, so those people are not leaving tonight. So they're in
Obviously not.
violation, so doesn't that include, I mean, if something, I'm in real estate, if there's a code or a violation of a code, there are there should be action taken, no? Like
And there
shut
is,
it
and
down?
there has been, but there is a process, and we have to follow due
What's the-
process
what
in
is
the
the
law. And the law
process?
is that we send an inspector out, whether it's building inspector, code
But I thought you did that
enforcement, or
already.
whomever.
I thought you
we
did
s-
that already.
Do you want me to answer you?
I do, but you.
Okay, well, we did. The process is that they have 30 days to cure the violation, and if they don't, then we go back and issue a summons. And then
Okay,
they're in
so
court.
if they cure the violation, then they're gonna be able to stay there?
I'd ask council to answer that. I personally don't think so, because they still haven't followed the process of notifying the town, and they would have to go through a change of use. That's not what that parcel is zoned for. It was zoned for a motel, and that's not what this is. You can't have someone living there extended periods of time. There's no cooking facilities. It doesn't meet the criteria. So they would have to go through a whole legal process with public hearings. From my vantage point, that's how I see it. If the town attorney has further information and could share, I'd appreciate that.
Sure, good afternoon. My name's Mike Wall. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It's the microphone. You could usually hear me on the big round. Try to be soft-spoken at these public hearings. It's much broader than just a change of use issue. The county of Suffolk took it upon themselves to be able to do this. They have their own statutory scheme that allows them to essentially set up a homeless shelter wherever they want. And they cut the municipalities right out, the smaller ones, the towns and villages. I think what the town is concerned about, and the residents seem to be concerned about and advocating about is how they set it up. Their own procedure, I mean, I've read it. I haven't had an opportunity to really dive into it, but it seems like they didn't even follow their own procedure. So who has the ability and the authority, the statutory authority legally to stop that? The town of Islip does not.
Who does?
Right, so that's what we come to answer the question. So
Okay.
the county has to go back into the procedure under which they granted the license for this particular property to operate as a homeless shelter and take a real hard look at that, because even just a little bit more than a cursory review shows they have a problem. So I don't want to spend too much time, because we can talk for hours about this statutory scheme, what it means, how it works, how the town, home rule messages, who has the authority to do what, but it seems to me that there is a real issue with one of the sponsoring agents.
Right, the
Not
beacon,
butler.
the beacon,
No, that's-
no?
No. So, right, so we can have a discussion about what is a sponsoring agency? What does that mean? So if we look at the definition, I think it's a lot more broader than the county of Suffolk may think. And there's been a lot of attention drawn to other properties that are owned by the Travel Lodge. The same owner owns other properties in emergency services personnel of all kinds. And I think that really needs to be looked into by the Department of Social Services. So I think your complaint is best lodged with the county executive's office, the commissioner of the Department of Social
Write that
Services,
down.
and whoever your local legislature. I don't even know who that is. I'm not even really sure. But the county is the one who did this. This isn't the town of Islip statutory scheme
County
setting up a homeless
legislature.
shelter.
So, in the interim,
Excuse me, we're really not supposed to engage in, a back and forth, and I, had hoped that
okay.
the town attorney could answer. We've got a lot of speakers, but I thank you
Okay.
for coming down, and please know we are honest, we are with you, and we'll be watching.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Next speaker, Joe Fritz. Yeah. Welcome back, Joe. Haven't
Good
seen you
afternoon,
since
Madam
last
Supervisor.
October.
I hope you can smile afterwards, but in any case, good afternoon. My name is Joseph Fritz. I live in Brentwood. The late Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill, was quoted, "All politics are local." I listened to the candidates at a recent forum for Islip Town candidates, and I believe it was very unbecoming of the supervisor to criticize the other supervisor candidate by implying that he lacked the experience to hold public office. Were I to say to the supervisor that she was that she lacked a college degree and a postgraduate degree, I might and would be rightfully accused of making an inappropriate remark. Two items worth mentioning. Last year, the supervisor advised me and the East Brentwood Fire Department that the town of Islip would be paving Fulton Street in East Brentwood, but wouldn't be able to do so until 2023 because of drainage issues. It is now the last quarter of 2023. The drainage issues have not been solved, nor has been any paving. The second issue is Roberto Clemente Park. I donated to Islip Town $1,000 several years ago to purchase goalposts for a soccer field dedicated to my brother, Nick Fritz, who was killed during the Tet Offensive in the Vietnam War. No signs recognizing the soccer field, nor information about the new goalposts. On the soccer field, I asked that there also be an automatic sprinkler system like they have over in East Islip. I was told that no sprinkler system could be installed because the ground contamination was still present. The ground could not be dug, and so therefore they could not have a sprinkler system like they have in East Islip. I surmise there are no toxic problems in East Islip. Islip residents Islip Town reaped the rewards of lawsuits and received insurance awards in order to remedy the problem in Clemente Park. Perhaps it was the town's inexperience that this problem was not properly corrected. As of October 16th, I witnessed that the latrines in the Clemente Park were laden with feces on the walls and no toilet paper. That was yesterday. I was there yesterday. In Suffolk County park facilities, the latrines are inspected with dates on which they were inspected. They do that every week. Clemente's bathrooms were last inspected by whomever on September the 19th, over a month ago. The conclusion I draw is the town of Islip does not care about park facilities north of Sunrise Highway. I do not think Supervisor candidate Ken Cologne's alleged inexperience has anything to do with the unpaved roads and inattentiveness at Clemente Park. Supervisor Ken Cologne deserves a chance to clean up Islip Town, all of it. Thank you.
Mr. Fritz, I'd ask the Parks Commissioner and the DPW Commissioner who's here if he would step outside with you. The paving season is not over, 23 is not over, so the issue of Fulton Street with the drainage and paving can very easily be addressed. Also the question about the goalposts, he would be best able to answer it. And just in case anyone was wondering, the insurance proceeds that Mr. Fritz referred to was about $670,000. It's being held by the state AG. We have not seen a penny of it yet. However, the town has spent to date $11 million on Roberto Clemente Park. Next speaker, Elena Torregrossa.
Sure. Elena Torregrossa, Torregrossa. Not going to make your life hard today, I promise. Good afternoon. My name is Elena Torregrossa. I am the homeowner and I reside at 1 Swan Court, located within the Windermere Pond HOA. I'm also speaking on behalf of Paragon Advertising as the vice president, my husband being the president of Paragon Advertising. We are all vehemently opposed to the homeless shelter located at 501 East Main Street in Bayshore. While we agree that there is a big homeless problem in New York, it is not unreasonable to advocate for a safe neighborhood for our families and businesses. Through its research, the National Association of Realtors has concluded that a homeless shelter in a residential neighborhood has the potential for lowering property values by 12.7%. And that is a conservative estimate, because according to the New York City Independent Budget Office, a homeowner would get about 24 to 25% less for a house, condominium, or townhouse than for a residence with no shelter nearby. Bayshore has been revitalized over the past few years, with many more wonderful businesses and developments. Let's not go backwards. Let's keep Bayshore and the town of Islip safe and pleasant for all. Please do whatever you can as a town to close the shelter down immediately. And I thank each and every one of you for passing the resolution today unanimously. Someone mentioned that, Angie, you're from Queens. I'm from Queens. And I still own numerous residential properties in Queens. And I can tell you, every single place that they've placed one of these homeless shelters, they're nightmares. There's nothing but vagrancy and crime on the streets. And I have homes in Bayside and Fresh Meadows. These are nice neighborhoods, okay? It's a mess. It's truly a mess. I did some research on the owner of the travel lodge, and someone on the board mentioned this. He owns numerous travel lodges and these type of motels. Each and every one of them is either currently operating as a homeless shelter with a New York City contract from their DSS, or it's being converted into a homeless shelter. This is a pattern, and it's absolute chaos. I'd be happy to go down there and take pictures of what these sites end up looking like. So I understand the issue that it's the county that placed them. I understand that you guys were not aware of that. I'm begging you, if there's any sort of lawsuits the town can file, whatever you guys can do to get some sort of injunction or just an emergency stop, whatever it is. I mean, we're living in terror. I'm going to be honest with you. I've driven in there, and I've seen what's going on. I've seen grown men smoking weed in there. These are not people that are disabled to me. There's been talk of it being for veterans. They're not veterans up there. They're not, you know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming down and reinforcing our actions here today. Next speaker, Bridget Phillips.
Hello, my name is Bridget Phillips. I'm a Bayshore resident. I live on South Montgomery, just south of the hospital. We moved here over a year ago, so we are newer residents to Bayshore. We moved here because I grew up in Babylon, and 20 years ago, Bayshore was not what it is today, right? And we saw what was happening. It's a lively town. It's fun, right? We're a young couple. We're excited. We're getting married this year. And when we heard of this homeless shelter coming into town and being, you know, within walking distance of our house, it's very concerning, because part of the reason we moved into our neighborhood was also we love to walk our dog. We don't want to have to be bound to walking only from 8 to 6 p.m. before it gets dark again, right? And now we're getting concerned walking around in the daytime. People are being followed. There is, you know, altercations happening. You're being confronted. And we're paying these taxes as these citizens. We get no say, and I understand that the county did this without your knowing, but it's still very concerning, and we just want to make sure this can't happen again. Two of the biggest questions that we want to make sure are ensured to us is that there will be no sex offenders living in this homeless shelter, that there will be no illegal immigrants living in this homeless shelter, because there's no way to make sure they're following the law. So those are two huge concerns that we have, and I just really hope that this, you know, resolvement that you're putting through happens. Whatever we can do as a community to keep pushing for it and make change, we will do. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Bridget. And we do share your concerns. Irvina Liu?
Hello, I'm Ravina Liu, and I'm the president of the Pennachuck Point Association. Last week, I want to thank you for your resolution. I hope that you can do everything under your mandates with the county. So last week, about 60 representatives from homeowner organizations, the ones we reached were our own Saxon Avenue, Windermere, and Okanee. And we met with the Commissioner of Department of Social Services. County Legislator Steve Flatteren showed up. So did a representative from the Assembly. And we didn't contact our congressional leaders or the senatorial representative. And the supervisor sent a letter in support, just for your background. So of course we want to vacate 501 West Main Street. So many people are speaking about it, I won't spend my seconds. I was born in Bay Shore so many years ago that I probably predate everybody. But when I was a child in the mid-20th century, Bay Shore was a destination for shopping, for the movies, for Gil Clark's, for all that great stuff. We all saw it turn to the pits, and we have seen a wonderful revitalization. That happened concurrently with Bay Shore becoming, what I'm quoting other people, a dumping ground. And it has been a dumping ground for every needy variety of neediness that you can imagine. We, and I was born in Bay Shore, we really think Bay Shore has reached its saturation level. And we are doing a study. There's a volunteer among us who has already requested of the county, and we're going to be working with the county, the state, the Department of Social Services, blah, 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 all the way through, not just the town, and the police, who's been very receptive, by the way. But what we ask of the town, let me go no further, we ask that the town not only try to vacate this and do everything in your legal power, but also put a moratorium on any placements and zoning variances. We even have in our neighborhood, which is AAA zoning, property developers coming in, buying one house, wanting to buy the ones next door. So where you have 2 acres, you could end up with 6 acres and development there. We are asking the town and the town zoning board to put a moratorium, not only on placements of group homes and homeless shelters and the like, but also on the kind of variances that change the character and the quality of life in our neighborhood. So, did I do that? So those are my points. We're really, I love it here. Everybody sitting here loves it here, and we don't want it to turn into another direction. I'll let other people speak to that. This is a very interesting factoid that one of the members told me about. According to the HUD report in 2016, among the smaller city, county, and regional continuum of care programs, Nassau and Suffolk counties, Babylon, Islip, and Huntington, had the 3rd largest homeless population nationwide. Then the count was 36, I understand from the...
Irvina,
I'm done?
we could wrap up.
Oh, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank
I
you so
didn't mean
much.
to go over.
Next speaker is Deborah Berkman. Berkman?
Hi. I'm Deborah Berkman. I'm also a Windermere Pond resident. And I'm speaking about, this is, to me, a safety issue. I joined Club Pilates, which is right next to the ex-Travelodge, in May of 2022. It's now October 2023. And the last 2 months, I have noticed a change. I was unaware that the Travelodge was sold and is now a homeless shelter. And I am at that shopping center, Club Pilates, that I joined since May of 2022, 6 times a week. I've been approached someone asking for money. Last week, there were 4 men pacing, this was right, broad daylight, 10:30 in the morning, going through the cars, and I have a picture of it, looking into the cars. It's the first time I felt unsafe in the town of Islip in 12 years. It's an issue. If it continues and this homeless shelter is going to stay open, it's only going to get worse. And there'll be problems and they will be crime. And I just feel it. Because I've just noticed that I just don't feel safe. So I hope you can do something about it. I am very happy that your Resolution 22 passed, but I do hope that you can take action on it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you report any of that to the police department?
You know what? I went down to the code enforcement to report it because that's where and that's exactly what they told me.
Yeah.
And yes, I will do that.
Well, based on some of the comments that we've heard today, I will reach out to the precinct. I think we need to have some more patrols at that shopping center.
Thank you.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated. Thank you.
Next speaker, Vanessa DiDomenico.
Good afternoon. My name is Vanessa DiDomenico. I'm a resident of Bay Shore. I actually want to thank you for the resolution that has been passed today. Unfortunately, it comes a little bit too late for the homeless shelter that is already existing in our community. As a Bay Shore, as a resident of Bay Shore, and more significantly as a taxpayer in the town of Islip, I'm appalled that Suffolk County has the ability to transition a former motel into a DSS homeless shelter without even a peep out of any of our elected representatives on this board. I know you're unaware, but that blows my mind away. Not only did this transition take place in the dark of night without any public notification, but it was able to open and house homeless people without ever filing a permit, change of zoning, or having a fire inspection performed. Suffolk County has been handed a free pass to open these shelters wherever they deem convenient. And in the process, they have shown us that they have the authority to override the sovereignty of this town's ability to protect and preserve itself. No environmental study has been conducted on the impact the shelter will have on water and sewage systems. No traffic study has been performed to review the safety issues associated with the entrance and egress of the facility, being that it's actually located in between a shopping center, a gas station, and also a residential apartment complex. No change of zoning has ever been requested. No town building inspection has taken place. I know to date, I believe you did send somebody down. And most importantly, not one plan has been submitted nor one permit issued for the work that is going to be necessary to bring this facility up to code. This board is responsible to maintain and uphold the codes set forth in our rules and regulations. And as a resident of this community, I demand that any and all legal action available be taken to close this facility and to make sure that no future facilities are able to open in our town. Thank you.
We are equally appalled, and your very passionate and eloquent statement really should be taken to the Suffolk County Legislature and to the county executive. And, to say demanding that we do whatever we can, please read the resolution. I think it makes it abundantly clear.
It does. It makes it absolutely 100% clear. The
Thank
problem is that you need to maintain the sovereignty of our town. So if it means that we have to fight the county, then that's what we're asking you to do.
And
Okay?
it also means we may have to fight the state. if the
It might
government
mean
brings
that.
back.
It
Yes.
might mean that. Thank you.
Thank you. Felix and Lori Ann Bustello. If you've changed your mind about speaking, that's okay. We'll keep moving. Lorianne? Okay. Pierce? Quinlan? Olin? Pierce? Joseph Henney?
I apologize to everybody here on the topic that is brought up that has nothing to do with that. So I really am. I'm glad that that shelter is not opening up in Central Islip, because I would be with all these people here, because I think that's such a very traumatic and sad thing that you have to have your kids be around an environment like that. But on the topic that I'm here, first of all, I want to thank the board. Ms. Carpenter, you got the Little League fields, turf field built for us, so I appreciate it. And I know we talked about a few more fields being built. I'm looking at our surrounding communities in Sayville, Bayport, and Islip, and they have a few of these turf fields built for their children. And I'm wishing you as a board consider that we get another one or two built at our facility in the for the 2024 year. It brought out so many more kids. We brought out so many more older kids on that big field. We had so many rainouts that we couldn't use our T-ball field. We could put 4 to 5 teams on the T-ball field, and the kids went out there and had a great time. So I'm hoping you all put us in your budget when it comes to putting out more fields for the Central Islip community, and I won't keep anybody waiting here any longer talking about that. And be sure I'm with you all the way.
Thank you, Mr. Henny. You know, when I came here 8 years ago, one of the first meetings I had was with Mr. Henny and our Parks Commissioner at the CI fields, and those fields were in horrible condition. What had been done previous was really inexcusable. But we were able to rectify it. The Parks Commissioner and staff have really been dedicated. Assemblyman Phil Ramos was able to help us with some funding to get that turf field put in there, and there's more coming. So I applaud you for 8 years, and you're still here volunteering. Thank you so much. Harry Penn.
Good afternoon. I live at 173 Tree Avenue. The property I'm concerned about is at across the street from 183. It's a town sump. It haven't been cleaned out in a while. It's not the sump, but the basin. The trees there, leaves fill up with water. The water come off 111, and that full that basin up in a hurry every time it rains. So that's at across the street from 183 Tree Avenue and Cinnamon and Tree. There's a light out on Sage and Twig, the old local yard, but that street light out is that's a twig running into that sign, that pole. So I would like to have that light lit up again. So I think that's all I have to say for the time I have.
Where did you say
Thank
the
you.
light was, sir? The light?
Yes, the light is on Sage and Twig.
Sage and...
Twig.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Janice Concanon.
Thanks, everybody. Valid points from everybody and everything. This might seem a little trivial and personal, but it does affect me. So my concern is abandoned properties that are just sitting, one around the corner from me and now one next door. It's been 9 months. There's a terrible mildew odor coming from this house into my yard as I'm sitting out. The garage is dilapidated, it's ready to fall down, it's full of junk. The house is not boarded up. I called to complain about the grass not being cut because I live in Tickville and they love the tall grass. I'm glad there's turkeys roaming around there. I know they eat the ticks, but they told me it would take 30 days, and it was the end of May. And I'm like, that's not right for it to be 4th of July, and I'm gonna look at 2-foot tall grass now. The problem with that was resolved pretty quick. The inspector came a couple days later, said my complaints were founded. Then D. Giovanna Brothers came and cut the grass on the 3rd day. That was it. Nobody ever came back. And my concern is, how long does it take for this situation to get resolved? I've seen the house around the corner for years, and now I'm gonna live next to that, and if I wanna sell it, who's responsible? That's my question.
Okay, well, you said no one's been back. Obviously, someone has, because on the agenda today is a board up cleanup resolution for 31 Rosemary. So the process is moving
Well,
forward.
I noticed the new sign, but when is that gonna occur?
Well,
And-
as soon as we can get to the agenda, I guarantee that's going to be approved, and the process will move forward.
But how long am I gonna
It is on the agenda
live?
today for a board up and cleanup.
But obviously, the house is foreclosed, so is it gonna be like 5, 6 years that I live next to this situation? Because if I'm a day late paying my taxes, I get fined. But I don't get a reduction for looking at this disaster in a nice neighborhood. It's just not fair.
No, it's not fair, but again, there are laws in place that we are required to follow, and as much as we'd love to go in there and bulldoze the thing down, it's not in our purview to be able to do that, and we're doing whatever we can. And the resolution that will be passed today, that will call for the board up and cleanup, the owner will be charged, and the owner will be monitored, and hopefully they'll do the right thing, and we'll keep on it. So we thank you.
The owner's responsible?
Well, certainly.
Well, they abandoned, so they're not gonna do anything. I know that. Okay, thank you.
Charles Geddes, or Geddes.
I was born in Southside Hospital in 1943. I did move away to college and was out of state for a few years. But I've spent the vast majority of my life in Bay Shore. I live on Awixa Avenue, right next to the bank, across the street from the condominiums. Orwell's 1984 book refers to the Ministry of Truth, or Newspeak. We have gone from illegal immigrants who became amnesty seekers. The truth is they are illegal immigrants. Our federal government is allowing laws to be broken. They had secret planes fly illegal immigrants into Islip MacArthur Airport. I don't know where these people are being disseminated to, but I'm fearful that they might show up at the motel that we're here discussing, where you have said you're opposed to it. Not only is the federal government allowing laws to be broken, the state government seems not to care at all, and I have a feeling New York City is trying to get some of these people out here into our county. We have been pleading with you. The town itself. You have allowed the zoning laws to be changed when you allowed a medical building to be put in next to the bank across on Main Street, west of Awixa Avenue. We had 200 people sign a petition, or approximately, at least 180, and you didn't care about the 180 people that lived in the neighborhood. And so not only is it federal, state, county, local, that feels not to need to be responsive to citizens. I've heard you saying that you're going to do am I interrupting you? Am I interrupting you?
I'm trying to take notes and listen. Keep talking.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kelly Cook.
Sure, Kelly Cook. I'm part of the Connecticut Point Association, live on Awixa Avenue. Thank you very much for today's resolution and passing it. And I appreciate the support that you are providing us, or trying to provide us. I guess the question we have is, we start to look to the county, and we have reached out to, again, look for foils and look for direction and try and change some of the actions that have been taken and will continue to be taken in our neighborhoods. I would ask of you, sir, when you were talking to us, Michael, about what you can do and what you can't do. Is there some way that we can form some type of advisory board with the local community that you can perform guidance and help through the town and through the sovereignty of the town, help us fight at the county level and then at the state level? Understanding that this is currently we are experiencing what they're calling almost emergency levels of homelessness. We've been hearing this since early 2000, and continue to put shelters in place that don't meet standards and in fact have been put in place by the county and the state. We would like some support from our town legislator and guidance in perhaps in helping you do this on looking at areas of saturation and compliance with the regulations that they do in fact have in place on oversight of these locations, as well as looking at the placement of these locations. Key that I noticed, and Irvina spoke to it a little bit, had to do with the HUD. They have the Consortium of Continued Care, and Nassau and Suffolk was third in the nation. Big concern, and specifically the town of Islip was mentioned. I believe we have done our part. I believe we are caring citizens. I believe that we welcome the individuals that are already in our community in a number of shelters that are either housed by the county and also individual shelters that are out there, privately as well as publicly funded. We would just like the opportunity to work alongside our town, which we do have a lot of thanks and a lot of respect for, and how we can move forward within the state and the county first, county and then state, to try and find ways to remove this issue or to be able to have review of what's being placed in our towns. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Regina Ciani, Virginia, I'm sorry.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm a homeowner of a beautiful historic home on South Montgomery. I'm in the Connecticut Point Association, and my husband grew up in this town. He was born in Southside, died right there as well 10 years ago, so I'm a widow. I'm paying a huge amount of taxes, and we were thrilled to be in our home. Recently, with we're having more and more people coming through the neighborhood, homeless, obviously, going through our cars, going through things, causing little petty crimes, that kind of thing. That makes us all nervous. And also, my neighbor next to me is selling another historic home as we speak, and they told me a developer bought that home, and he's buying other property on the block, and he's changing everything. So I'm very concerned with the zoning. I don't want anything to be changed in our AAA neighborhood because it will affect me greatly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Andrew Cross.
And once again, I'm here about the NYS law line on my tax bill. Tax went up about 85% during your time as supervisor. How could you say in one of your election flyers that you are protecting Islip taxpayers? Did you approve these lies before sending them out? In 1 year, the NYS law line on my tax bill went up 41%. 41%. Is that what you call protecting the taxpayer? In your tenure, the highway tax went up 1 year 51%. Is that what you call protecting the taxpayer? And did you approve the tax messages on your flyers that you sent around to people's houses? In another election flyer, you single out Bay Shore to improve the downtown area. Did you improve the area by putting in parking meters, which destroyed all downtown businesses? 75% of most leaving or going bankrupt. Did you approve these lies? Since taking office, you claim to hold the line on taxes. What do you say to the town taxpayer that came to my house and said since 2013, you raised taxes 52%? Is there any one tax on my tax bill that you haven't raised so you can say these lies? 2 years ago, I was told my whole neighborhood was going to be repaved with new asphalt. It hadn't been done in 30 years. Well, across Bayshore Road in West Islip, every 10 years, it seems like clockwork, they get repaved. Last month's meeting, a woman from CI said the same thing about her neighborhood. I wonder how long they've been waiting to get repaved. And what do we have to do to serve less something, what do we have to do to serve the Central Islip, Brentwood, and Bayshore? So taxes have gone up every year since your flyers said that they haven't gone up. Town of Islip is on an exceptional bond rating, is on the right track, and how could it not be? We're their best customer.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Time's up.
Everybody else had 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Arrest Baranski.
Hello, thank you. What's that? Forrest Baranski. It's like forest without the F. Okay. Hi, I'm a recent resident of the town of Bayshore, came from the town of Huntington. I think one of the most important things that the town can guarantee its residents is the quiet enjoyment of our property. And the way I see it right now is the town looks like it's oversaturated with shelters and helping people that need help. I think we've done our share. The shopping center across from where I live at the Windermere has seen an increase in people loitering there, and it's making us feel uncomfortable. My wife has already been accosted by a homeless person. It was fine. It didn't require a filing or a notice to the police, but it was noticeable. And I was nervous because I wasn't around to help her. We have not seen the type of increase in police presence that I think is required to ensure the public safety of the area and that shopping center, and I think that needs to be addressed. We expect that our public officials elected to serve us should know what's happening in our town before it happens. I know it's hard. I know it requires a lot of diligence, and it's not always easy. And I know your jobs are very difficult, but we really do expect it because it's hard for us to see what's going on from our perspective. So so you can see that we could be disappointed when we see a homeless shelter being placed in our neighborhood under the cover of darkness, when nobody is really out there advocating for us and saying, hey, this is wrong. We expect more. We deserve more. And I'm very happy to hear that I was outside when it happened, but apparently you did pass a notice to vacate, which I really hope that you can enforce. I think there's many grounds. I think the Travel Lodge has not been properly vetted, and we expect the town to issue that notice, and I'm glad you did, due to the unsafe conditions that may or may not exist there, and that the fire safety and other areas that appear to be evidence did not exist. So I know that a lot of taxpayer complaints have been filed in that regard, and I see that you're acting on them, and I like that. Please, do not allow Bayshore, which has gone through a terrific transformation, one that I'm pleasantly surprised about. I had no idea what a nice town I moved into until after I moved here. So I was very, very happy. Me and my wife both say the restaurants are terrific. There's so much to do. I see now that we have a performing arts center that's now being revitalized. People are putting money, millions and millions of dollars into this town. You don't want the shopping center to fall apart. You don't want the stores to go empty. Please. I know it sounds like I just want to say one more thing. Do not allow the town of Islip, and Bay Shore specifically, to turn into the 6th borough of New York City. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baranski. I just have to correct one thing that you said, and you said you were out of the room, so maybe that's why, that no one is advocating for you. That is abundantly not the case. I think with the actions taken by this town board today, unanimously, we're here for the community, and we're not going to see all of the good work that has been done the last 30 years. And I was there when Bay Shore had a methadone clinic and social service and DMV in a mini center on Main Street. And that property had been off the tax rolls for years, and now it is where Shoregate is. Again, something the community advocated for. The businesses, despite what Mr. Cross said earlier, he made a statement that, you know, anybody can come up here and say anything. And I can't always come back and say, you're not telling the truth. But when someone stands up there and says that 75% of the downtown businesses have gone bankrupt and left because of parking meters is abundantly false. You know, you can't get a reservation half the time, certainly not on the weekends in the restaurants. It's a great, great place. And with the Bolton Center reopening, it's really going to be booming. So thank you for your positive comments, and we are advocating for you. Next speaker, Rhonda Elfike.
Hi, I guess I would just like to say.
Into the microphone, please, so we can hear you, Rhonda.
Sorry.
That one, the one on the right.
Okay,
Thank you.
sorry. I just, all my money is kind of, I purchased a property right across from the lodge, and like that's all my money, like everything I've worked for, and I feel like my property value is like gratefully it decreased. I just feel that maybe, hopefully you guys can do something to help us and either like lessen our taxes or add more police officers and more security so that we feel more safe. I feel like maybe if they do like security around until you guys can figure out the whole situation, that would be helpful.
Mhm.
Please.
Okay, thank you so much, Rhonda. That are all the cards that we have. We have a motion to close the public portion. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardiano. All those in favor? Opposed? The public portion is closed. We will now go to the agenda. Councilman Cochran has a point of information that I think especially the residents of Bay Shore should know about. John?
Thank you, Supervisor. 25 years ago, Bay Shore, when it was in its demise, started a business development district. Bay Shore started a taxable zone for the Bay Shore Downtown Business District, and which wanted to try to get investors in to do mixed-use property that was approved, and that's what is going on in Bay Shore. This is nothing that came overnight that all of a sudden there's 23 apartment buildings going up. This has been over the course of 25 years. So if we have issues, talk to Donna Paracone, the president of the BID. The BID is a taxable district, and it is one of the driving reasons why Bay Shore is back on track. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, we'll go to the agenda. Item number 1, meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. Mr. Walzer
Thank you.
will motion to convene. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? The meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency is convened, a quorum being present.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the agency board. John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip, New York. I have several items for your consideration today. The first item for your consideration is to approve the minutes from our last board meeting on August 15th of this year.
Any question on the minutes? Motion? Motion. Motion by Councilman Cochran. A Second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Okay, thank you. The next item for your consideration is an inducement resolution between the agency and Vita Warehouse Corp., located at 60 Orville Drive in Bohemia. Vita Warehouse assembles, packages, and distributes vitamins and nutritional supplements. The company currently leases 8,000 square feet at 33 Comac Loop in Ronkonkoma, also in the town of Islip. This project involves the relocation and expansion of the company with the purchase of 60 Orville Drive in Bohemia, which is a 40,000 square foot building. This would be an over $8 million capital investment. And this growing company currently employs 45 people. They will be adding a minimum of 15 employees to that within 2 years of completing this project.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is a resolution authorizing a mortgage refinancing for the Reliance Communications project located at 1560 Fifth Avenue in Bay Shore.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Okay, the next item for your consideration is a resolution authorizing the agency to enter into a contract with National Development Council for a feasibility study in connection with the multifamily housing project located at 29-31 Carlton Avenue in central Islip.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And the last item I have for your consideration is the adoption of a resolution to approve the agency's 2024 budget.
Thank you. I know everyone has reviewed it with the controller. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second
Second.
by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And I do believe that are all the items before us on the RDA.
That's it. That's all I have for you.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor or opposed, we stand adjourned and move to item 2, which is the meeting of the Town of Islip Economic Development Corporation. Quorum being present, I call the meeting to order. John.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Corporation Board. I have a couple of items for your consideration today. The first is to approve the minutes from our last board meeting on August 15th of this year.
Any questions on the minutes? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And the last item for your consideration is the adoption of a resolution to approve the corporation's 2024 budget.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And no other business before us. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
We'll move now to item 3, meeting of the Town of Islip Resource Recovery Agency. Commissioner Baloo, I hope you were here to hear the wonderful compliments about the RAP Center and how great
Yes.
it was. In fact, I happened to be there on Saturday. Last count I heard was over 500 vehicles had come through for Shred Day. And people were really genuinely pleased for the opportunity to safely get rid of all of their important documents.
Yeah, it was a very productive day over in the rep.
Do you know what the final count was?
Yeah, 529.
529. Wow, that's great. Okay, Town of Islip Resource Recovery Agency. The agency board is convened, quorum being present. Motion to convene by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor or opposed, we are convened. And we will go to the agenda.
Madam Chair, members of the agency board, Martin Ballou, 401 Main Street, Islip, New York. I'm the president of the Islip Resource Recovery Agency. I have several recommendations for you to approve. First one is the approval of the minutes from the July 18th, 2023 agency board meeting.
Any question on the minutes? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo. Second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Next item is a resolution authorizing the adoption of the recommended budget of the Islip Resource Recovery Agency for the fiscal year 2024.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 4,
The next item is a resolution authorizing an extension and amendment to an existing contract with Cash and Associates PC to provide professional engineering services related to groundwater, leachate, and emerging contaminants, monitoring, sampling, and reporting at the Blydenburg Road landfill, Cleanfill Phase 1 and 2.
Any question? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And the last item for your consideration is a resolution authorizing the president to enter into a contract extension between the agency and Municipal Land Survey PC to provide professional licensed land surveying services to the agency for all Islip Resource Recovery Agency sites for calendar year 2024.
Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And I'll entertain a motion. Motion to adjourn by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Lorenzo. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much, Marty.
Thank you.
We'll move to item 4, authorization for the supervisor to enter into a license agreement for 2 parcels of town-owned Bay Bottom land for the purpose of shellfish cultivation. That program is absolutely robust and doing beautifully. Let's remember that each oyster filters up to 50 gallons of water a day in our Great South Bay, and we have millions of them out there. Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 5, Town Board authorization to clean up and secure certain properties in the town of Islip. Jeff?
Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board, and the Town Clerk. Jeffrey Panacci, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street, Islip, New York. I do have 6 matters on for your consideration here today. Number 1 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 2 has also been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 3, to board and clean up the premises located at 31 Rosemary Place in East Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unlocked basement door allowing access to the interior of the dwelling, a detached garage in severe disrepair, as well as overgrown vegetation, litter, and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with the property interest in this premises.
Obviously, from these photos, this property is not in compliance or anywhere near it, based on the comments we heard earlier in the photos we're looking at. So I'd like to make the motion, and hopefully we'll get this done ASAP. And second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
Number 4 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 5 has also been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 6, to clean up the premises located at 126 Clark Street in Brentwood. On this property, there now exists excessive amounts of litter and debris, which constitute a nuisance and present a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I know that this particular parcel has been the subject of many phone calls, and we've been trying to address it, so I'm happy to see that this is happening today. Motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll make that motion, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. We will move then to item 6, authorization of supervisor to enter into a contract with Springbrook to upgrade the town's financial accounting system. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Next item are the bid awards. You reviewed them all. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 8, the option year resolutions. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 10, Town Board approval of amended rates for the rental of machinery or equipment for snow and ice. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, the resolution number 9, appointment of Samuel Wood as Deputy Commissioner of the Kismet Beach Erosion Control District. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran? Oh, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, we have one recusal. The motion is approved. We will now go to item 10, board approval of rates for the rental of equipment for snow and/or ice removal from town roads and town parking lots for the upcoming 23-24 season. Hopefully, we won't be needing this. We'll be praying for sun and warm weather. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. 11, next item is an authorization of supervisor to execute professional services agreement with BFJ Planning for the comprehensive plan update. I just want to thank the Commissioner, Ella Doconal, the master plan for the town. We've had a series of Hamlet studies, and we've gone through a very, very robust process of bidding and vetting and interviewing, et cetera. And this firm is eminently qualified. We have worked with them in the past. In fact, they did the Bayport Hamlet study and really have a reputation for engaging the community. And this is what this comprehensive plan is all about. There are so many exciting potential projects in the works, but we need to include and embrace the community and get their input and have them letting us know what their communities should look like. So we're really looking forward to this. I'll make that motion. And second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. We now move to 12, authorization with supervisor to enter into an agreement for the acceptance of funds from Suffolk County for positive youth development and delinquency prevention programs. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 13 is an agreement for authorization for the supervisor to enter into an agreement to accept the New York State aid pass-through funds from Suffolk County for youth development delinquency prevention programs for the town of Islip.
Motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 14, authorization for supervisor to enter into an agreement with JVC Broadcasting to provide production and airtime for radio spots featuring messages pertaining to disabled parking regulations. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 15 are the special events, parades, 5K, Kids Fun Run, and many, many other great events. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Item 16 is an approval to ensure that the current base proportion ratios for the homestead and non-homestead class for the 23-24 semester year does not exceed the adjusted base proportion of the immediately preceding year by 1% in accordance with real property tax law, Article 19. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 17, authorization of supervisor to enter into a contract extension with Benson Contracting, Inc. for contract DPD 5-20, maintain and service wells and pumps at town pools, golf courses, and town facilities. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 18, approval for the use of ARPA funds to perform design and construction management services for the proposed town hall annex building to help get us into ADA compliance and address the needs more adequately for the town and its residents. Again, we're able to use ARPA funding and not have to bond this, so that's really huge. Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? And one abstention. That is approved. Item 19, authorization for supervisor to enter into a professional services agreement with K. McLean Associates for design and construction management services for the town of Islip, Town Hall Annex Building. Any questions? This is a companion resolution to the past resolution. Same motion, same second. That's 4 in favor, 1 abstention. It is approved. Item 20, authorization for the supervisor to enter into a professional services agreement with Lyro Engineers for engineering site plan reviewer for commercial development within the town of Islip. This will help move along many of the site plan reviews. Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 21, authorization for the supervisor to enter into an internship agreement with Suffolk County Community College. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And I do believe that takes care of all the resolutions on the agenda. We have a motion to adjourn. A motion by Councilman Guarjone, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Stand adjourned. Thank you so much.